The late 80s, a period of neon lights, synth pop, and the inception of an era-defining video game revolution. The gaming industry was a wild west of creativity and competition, a time when the Sega Genesis was born. With its creation in 1988, Sega Genesis, also known as Mega Drive outside of North America, boldly stepped into a market dominated by Nintendo's behemoth, the NES. Sega, a Japanese company, was no stranger to the arcade scene, but home consoles were a different beast altogether, and the Sega Genesis was their answer to the call. The Genesis was a 16-bit home video game console, an impressive upgrade from the 8-bit systems popular at the time. Sega had a vision to bring the arcade experience to the living room, and with the Genesis, they did just that. The console was a powerhouse, boasting superior graphics and sound capabilities that were unheard of in the home console market. It wasn't just about the hardware, though. The Genesis had a lineup of games that would become iconic in the annals of gaming history. Games like Sonic the Hedgehog, Streets of Rage, and Mortal Kombat were not only top-grossing, but also genre-defining, pushing the boundaries of what games could be. Sonic the Hedgehog, in particular, became a mascot for Sega, rivaling Nintendo's Mario in popularity. But the road to success wasn't easy. The Genesis faced stiff competition, not just from Nintendo, but also from a newcomer in the console market, Sony. The 90s saw a gaming war like no other, with Sega, Nintendo, and Sony vying for dominance. This was a time of aggressive marketing, technological advancements, and intense rivalry that would shape the future of the gaming industry. Despite the fierce competition, the Genesis held its own. Its innovative technology, coupled with a strong library of games, made it a formidable contender. Sega's bold strategies and relentless drive to innovate challenged the status quo and pushed the entire industry to evolve. The Sega Saturn was released in 1994. It was a 32-bit home video game console and was Sega's entry into the fifth generation of video game consoles. The Saturn had several capabilities, including dual CPU architecture. The Saturn featured 2 CPUs and 6 other processors, making it quite powerful for its time. CD-ROM support. The Saturn used CDs for game storage, allowing for larger game sizes and enhanced audio capabilities compared to cartridges. 2D and 3D graphics. It had capabilities for both 2D and 3D graphics, although its 3D capabilities were not as strong as its competitors, such as the Sony PlayStation. Arcade ports. Sega aimed to replicate the arcade experience at home, so the Saturn had ports of popular arcade games of the time. Virtua Fighter 2. This fighting game was a huge hit both in arcades and on the Saturn, showcasing the console's 3D capabilities. Despite its advanced hardware, the Saturn faced challenges due to its complex architecture, high price point, and difficulty in programming games for its hardware. These factors contributed to its limited success compared to its competitors. Message ChatGPT. Alas, all good things must come to an end. The Genesis was eventually dethroned by Sony's PlayStation in the mid-90s. The Sega Dreamcast was released in 1998. It was the first 6th-generation console and was lauded for its innovative features such as online gaming capabilities and a built-in modem. The Dreamcast initially competed well against the Sony PlayStation due to its superior graphics and innovative games like Sonic Adventure and Shenmue. However, Sony's marketing power, a larger library of games, and the eventual release of the PlayStation 2, which had DVD playback capabilities, contributed to the Dreamcast's downfall, leading Sega to discontinue it in 2001. But its impact on the gaming industry was indelible. It challenged the monopoly of Nintendo, brought about a new era of 16-bit gaming, and gave us some of the most memorable games of all time. In conclusion, the gaming war of the late 80s and early 90s was a pivotal period in the history of video games. The Sega Genesis played a crucial role in this era, pushing the boundaries of gaming technology and ushering in a new age of home consoles. Its influence resonates even today, in the DNA of every console and every game that dares to dream big. The Sega Genesis was not just a console, it was, and forever will be, a beacon of innovation in the gaming industry.